encourage them and give them all the necessary hope they need to have and continue with what they have been doing.
Police chief makes strategic visit to Borno and Adamawa states to shoot down trouble.
Sure that every sector of our national life is given the necessary motivation with which to achieve set goals.
Presidential reward for honors and dazzling medals from sportsmen and women.
We must work as one body with one sole objective: place Nigeria where we ought to be in football.
Senate President throws the ball to football administrators to kick Nigeria into world recording.
The urban and regional development agenda is being pursued.
And ministerial platform reveals the brickworks laid for more affordable shelter for Nigerians. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stober. Nigerian athletes and officials at various international competitions in 2014 have received varying cash rewards as the presidency hosted them to dinner. State House correspondent Segun Lawali reports.
They are the heroic sportsmen and women who made the country proud in the last 7 months, having participated in international competitions across the globe alongside their handlers and team officials. 319 athletes. They won the different shades of medals in various championships. From the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, where Blessing Okagbari won 2 gold medals, to the African Senior and Junior Athletes Championship and the African Youth Games in Gaborone. The FIFA Female Under-20 team, the Falconet, were not left out. From shooting to handball, karate to para-powerlifting, table tennis to weightlifting and wrestling, including handball and golf. It was a harvest of medals by the athletes. President Goodluck Jonathan will announce cash donations of between 2.5 million naira to 250,000 naira for the athletes and their handlers and other team officials. Noted that since the last retreat on sport in 2012, things are getting better for the country in the sports arena.
Let me use this opportunity to assure all Nigerians that this administration is determined to ensure that every sector of our national life is given the necessary motivation with which to achieve set goals. Our nation comes first, and we as citizens must stand loyally in defense and promotion of our national interests. As we prepare for the 2015 All-African Games and the 2016 Olympic Games, I wish to enjoin you all to strive for excellence at those competitions and bring home glory and respect.
Both the Sports Minister Tamino Danagogo and the Director General National Sports Commission Gbenga Elegbeleye said the transformation being witnessed in sports is due to the strategic intervention by the President. From the banquet hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja, Segun Lawale, NTA News.
And still more sporting news ahead. Senate President David Mark has charged the Super Eagles of Nigeria to restore their integrity as the reigning African champions by beating Sudan convincingly in the Nations Cup qualifier on Saturday. Receiving the new president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, and his team, Senator Mark insisted that this would assuage the feelings of Nigerians after the woeful outing against Congo. National Assembly correspondent Adamu Sambu has the details.
The new executive members of the Nigeria Football Federation were accompanied to the upper mansion of the Senate President by the Director General of the National Sports Commission, Gbenga Elegbeleye. Senator Mark tasked them to rise to the challenge of improving football administration, ensuring early preparation for competitions, as well as grooming young players to maturity.
We must work as one body with one sole objective: place Nigeria where we ought to be in football. Any other side attraction is just an avoidable distraction.
On the next match against Sudan this weekend, the Senate President said the Super Eagles need to step up their game and restore the confidence of Nigerians in their abilities to remain African champions. The new Football Federation President, Amaju Pinnick, promised to run the federation in a scientific manner to bring pride and honor to all Nigerians. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Borno State government has presented 40 patrol vehicles to the State Command of the Nigeria Police Force. The vehicles were presented to the Acting Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba, at the Government House, Maiduguri.
Presenting the keys to the IGP, Secretary to the State Government, Ambassador Baba Ahmed Jidda said the 40 patrol vehicles were procured by the State Government in line with the State Police Reform Committee to complement the efforts of the Federal Government. Receiving the keys, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba, said Borno State Government is the first to dedicate funds under the police reform for that purpose. He appealed to other state governments to begin to implement the reform. He stressed that with the 40 vehicles procured by the Borno State Government, the State Police Command will have no reason to complain of inadequate patrol vehicles. The Inspector General of Police also paid a courtesy call on Governor Kashim Shettima at the council chambers of the Government House. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy says the combat readiness of its personnel is crucial considering the security situation in the country. To this end, routine training and retraining of its personnel is conducted annually with a view to enhancing and sharpening their proficiency in handling weapons. Defense correspondent Keji Busari Ahmed reports.
Though the Nigerian Navy is statutorily empowered to protect the nation's maritime boundary and territorial integrity, it also engages in joint operations through internal security with sister services in troubled spots in the country. No wonder it keeps its personnel battle-ready at all times, especially in its war against maritime-related offences.
This is even more relevant nowadays when we consider the country's present security challenges, especially in the northeast. Thus, there is a compelling need to emphasize and reinforce small arms training and exercises in naval personnel by organizing this type of competition.
This year's Nigerian Navy Small Arms Firing Competition, scheduled to hold at the 72 Special Forces Battalion, Nigerian Army Range in Makodi, is part of the service's continuous effort to meet the deployment dictates of the security challenge in the country. In Abuja, Keji Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
And on the political scene now, the chairman, PDP Governors Forum, Governor Godswill Akpabio, says the forum welcomes the newly sworn-in governor of Adamawa State following the pronouncement by the Federal High Court in Abuja. The governor made this known while speaking to State House Press Corps after an audience with the president.
What is happening in Adamawa is that the people of Adamawa must be allowed to take their destiny in their own hands and to make a decision for their future. And for me, as chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, I'm always ready to receive any PDP governor that enters our fold.
Meanwhile, Governor Akpabio has promised to complete all ongoing projects in the state before his exit from office. And still on the Adamawa issue, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says the party will continue to abide by the rule of law in order to sustain democracy. The National Secretary of the party, Professor Wale Oladipo, gave the indication while reacting to the court order. Ignatius Unko reports.
The National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Professor Wale Oladipo, says the PDP will continue to support the new governor of Adamawa State in line with the Constitution. The National Secretary described the wide endorsement of President Goodluck Jonathan as an attestation of the good works of his administration and called on more support for the president.
For the first time in history, this country is on the path of development, sustained development. This man has shown that you can use power with the fear of God, that you don't have to oppress, you don't have to kill, you don't have to maim, you don't have to destroy before the will of God in your life manifests.
So I only wish to commend him and his executive.
Earlier, The national chairman of the PDP Councillors Forum, Onogu Collins, says their visit to the PDP Secretariat is to show more support for President Goodluck Jonathan come 2015. In Abuja, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigerians have continued to give kudos to the judiciary and the federal government for allowing the rule of law to prevail. A member of the Nigeria Bar Association, Onyekachi Ubani, gave the commendation while commenting on Wednesday's ruling by Federal High Court in Abuja concerning Adamawa State and the immediate implementation of the judgment by the Attorney General. Jide Onifade reports.
Discussed was the ruling of the Federal High Court in Abuja delivered in favor of the former Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, James Ngilari. The ruling ordered the immediate swearing-in of James Ngilari as the substantive governor of Adamawa State. The ruling and its implication on the nation was examined. Kudos was given to the judiciary and government for the judgment and swift implementation of the court order.
We must insist on court orders being obeyed. If we say we are a lawful society, we are a democratic state and all that, practicing democracy, when the courts make a ruling and a judgment, it should be obeyed. Unless there is any contrary order from the higher court or the appellate jurisdiction, we must begin to emphasize that. And as I said earlier, we are highly happy. And I'm
Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And there are no conflicts or contending issues in the Delta State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, as some aspirants and party stalwarts said while visiting the PDP South-South Harmonization and Integration Committee. Correspondent Chimdima Ndubisi reports that the three representatives from the state who met with the committee at its second sitting said they discussed strategies for winning in the upcoming general elections.
Issue of democracy within the party came up. I can say quite confidently that the party itself prides itself for being a democratic party within the party machineries.
Our meeting, as you can see, has been very smooth, and the reason is that we don't really have any issues that will warrant us throwing punches and writing petitions and castigating the party leadership in Delta State.
The party is strong and stable in Delta. I was very proud of Delta to know that Delta is at peace.
The other states of the South-South geopolitical zone are also expected to meet with the committee. Away from party matters now, the transformation agenda on housing and urban development has risen to the challenge of reducing the huge housing deficit being faced by Nigerians through the provision of a number of policy interventions. This was the main thrust of the ministerial platform held today by the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. Muhammad Hamza Sheikh has the details.
It is an open secret that Nigeria is facing a housing deficit of about 17 million units, and this figure is expected to increase by 6 million by the year 2020. The ministerial platform for the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, therefore, centered mainly on the efforts by the Jonathan administration to provide more houses to Nigerians and deflate this figure. Apart from adding over 43,000 units to the country's housing stock in the last 5 months, the ministry also generated over 8.1 billion naira as revenue and granted 3,798 certificates of occupancy. It is also rehabilitating all the 36 federal secretariats and constructing 6 new ones, while the Federal Housing Authority is being restructured for more efficiency.
The urban and regional development agenda is being pursued through such programs as slum upgrading, articulation of a national physical development plan, and the development of urban and housing indicators.
These achievements were not, however, without some challenges which are being tackled systematically. The ministerial platform, according to Information Minister, is a plus for the Jonathan administration, as it has made ministers to work harder for the benefit of the country.
The mere fact that this session is free, anybody to ask questions, and it is run live, has compelled all our ministers and all of us in the cabinet to work harder. It has created healthy competition among members of the Federal Executive Council as we step out, yearly to speak to the people on record of our own achievements.
In Abuja, Muhammad Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
And still ahead on the news, high-level expert group reveals experimental vaccines for the treatment of Ebola virus disease. This and other reports after some messages.
The jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Look, Aboki, Oga, that is my final price for your cows. Take it or leave it.
Oga, that price is very, very low, wallahi. 50,000 for the cow. I no agree, Oga.
No. Everything is set.
Oga, with the nationwide outbreak of Zopus and the mouse diseases, you do not have a choice but to buy from us.
Oga, you take it or you leave it.
What a lucky don't look so sad, Oga. We will throw in a goat as a bonus.
Okay, I'll take it. We have a deal.
That's an easy route. I know.
Always stay connected to the vast world of online information. Stay always on with Airtel Internet. Airtel Internet, the smartest network for your smartphone.
Dial *401# to activate.
He builds schools all over the country. He is giving free education to over 10,000 poor children. Born an Igbo man, raised in the north and empowered by the west. He believes in the unity of Nigeria. He is compassionate. He transformed Imo in 3 years. Every day he thinks about the people. Owele Rochas Okorocha, Senior Advocate of the Nigerian masses and Commander of Free Education, come to the rescue. This message is from Nigeria Rescue Group.
Transformation is not a day's job, but because you believe, the process has begun. Quality education, world-class airports, railway system, good roads, graduate internship scheme. You win to support young existing entrepreneurs. However, a great nation is never built by the government alone. Support the transformation agenda. This message was brought to you by Project 774, where government meets the governed.
Federal Ministry of Works, in conjunction with the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, is assiduously driving the federal government transformation agenda in the roads sector. Several arterial federal roads have been constructed and rehabilitated, while many others are undergoing dualization, amongst which are Kano Maiduguri Road, Sokoto Tambuwal, Abuja Lokoja Benin Expressway, Vom Manchok, Loko Oweto Road, Benin Ore Shagamu Lagos Expressway, Lagos Ibadan Road, Ibadan Ilorin, Abakaliki Mpo Ogoja Junction Road, Aba Owerri Road, Enugu Port Harcourt Dual Carriageway, It is strategically replacing damaged grid guardrails with reinforced concrete and new jersey rails, as well as illuminating critical sections of selected federal roads and bridges. And over 7,000 young men and women in the Shuapi FEMA Public Works Program, FEMA, is poised to ensure quicker, cheaper, and safer road transportation. Federal Ministry of Works and FEMA, moving Nigerians on good roads.
The Governor of Ebonyi State, His Excellency Chief Martin Enelechi, CON, on behalf of the government and good people of Ebonyi State, heartily welcomes the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Dr. David Bonaventure Mark, GCON, to the state on a one-day official visit to commission in vitro fertilization unit at the National Obstetric Fistula Center, Abakaliki, on Friday, October 10, 2014. During the visit, the Senate President will inspect the modern State Secretariat complex at Ochudo City, the Abakaliki International Market, Ofrekwe Mega Water Scheme, and the modern rice mill at Onibojiko. Your Excellency, Ebonyi people are happy to receive you. Welcome. Tokweho, Jokwa, signed Dr. Chike Onwe, Honorable Commissioner for Information and State Orientation.
Transformation ambassadors of Nigeria.
My good people of Nigeria, does anybody use mirror to look at what you have at hand? No! Good luck at the ingredients of life. Automobile industries, full encouragement. Second Niger bridge from mirage to reality. Good luck! Railways, seaports and airports are come back to modern life. Good luck! Or a Benin highway and other federal highways from dead trap to modern spectacle. Good luck! Ayua, petrol and nyaf with control price and so many other etc. Good luck I do. Good luck are going to do. And good luck will be yours. Are you see what I'm saying? Only good luck affects the security challenges of Nigeria with honesty and commitment. Fighting terrorism to a halt.
Good luck continue for Nigeria.
This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Done for one vision, Nigeria.
The National Hajj Commission today commenced the return airlift of the 2014 Hajj pilgrims. The first flight had 496 pilgrims from Kogi State and 6 officials. About 76,000 pilgrims performed this year's Hajj from Nigeria. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu has lamented the current drumbeat of alarm over a purported imminent demise of the nation, saying that Nigeria is destined to be permanent and indestructible. Senator Ekweremadu stated this while giving his perspective on key governance issues in Nigeria at the 54th Founders' Day lecture of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. National Assembly correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
The Deputy Senate President, who spoke extensively on the state of the nation and the best way forward, maintained that the political stability and development of Nigeria will never be destroyed by the ill will of any person or group of persons. He said although Nigeria continually faces complicated issues that tax existing institutions and processes, most of the challenges can be resolved through democratic process. Senator Ekweremadu therefore called on Nigerians to engage in what he calls good faith discussions towards developing pragmatic reforms that will reinvigorate the nation's democracy for better, safer, and more prosperous nation.
By the wisdom, tenacity, and commitment of all of us, Nigeria will be better. And there's no doubt in my mind that this country will be better. I urge you all to participate in this eminently desirable task of building Nigeria of our dream.
The Deputy Senate President made a case for improved educational system, the NYSC scheme and judicial reforms, decentralized police force, as well as the adoption of the 6 geopolitical zones as federating units. The Vice-Chancellor, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor Chukwuma Ozumba, and other speakers described the propositions by the Deputy Senate President as thought-provoking, highly enriching, and worthy of attention.
And I think the challenge of this country is to go for the impossible. If we continue to do what we are used to, we are not going to make any progress.
It is time for Nigeria to have a database. That database affords even your eyeball to be able to detect that this is who this person is.
INEC itself needs to be reformed, reoriented to carry out the mandate fearlessly and independently.
Amen.
The bottom line of Senator Ikeremadu's perspective on key governance issues in Nigeria is the expression of optimism about the future of the country. With prevailing challenges confronting Nigeria seem to be dissipating, the lecture concludes that the most glorious chapters in the nation's history are yet to be written. From University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The role of the youth in engendering peace and development takes center stage as a group, Youths for Jonathan Transformation and Continuity, embarks on sensitization visits. Correspondent Linda Koriegwe reports that the group was at the Medical and Health Workers Union and the NLC Secretariats.
In line with its mandate, the Youth for Jonathan's Transformation Continuity of promoting the achievement of the present administration and the need for continuity, the national coordinator of the organization says there is need for consultation with all key stakeholders, including the civil society and the Nigerian Labour Congress.
We are here to consult you people on behalf of Mr. President and to let you people know that 2015 is at hand. And we believe that you people are a key stakeholder in contemporary Nigeria because of your affiliation to the Nigerian Labour Congress.
The president of Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, Ayuba Waba, thanked the youth for their resolve to share this aspiration for a better nation.
Your message has been well received. It's going to be communicated to our members, and therefore certainly the decision is going to be theirs, and also we'll relate with our labor centers to see how we can be able to take an informed decision. But I think on a larger scale, I want to really thank you for this initiative.
The youth applauded the health workers for the role they played in containing the Ebola virus in Nigeria.
Chairman Police Service Commission Sir Mike Okiro has called on Nigerians, irrespective of religious, ethnic and political inclinations, to support the First Lady's Peace Initiative to ensure peace before, during and after the 2015 general elections. Mr. Okiro made the call when Mama Peace Ambassadors, a non-governmental organization, conferred on him its chairmanship. Correspondent Edino Justice reports.
The Mama Peace Ambassadors said they are mobilizing Nigerians for a violence-free 2015 election to avoid past experiences. The conferment of the Mr. Mike Okiro, according to its national coordinator, Mike Omohimunwa, was a right choice.
I want to use this medium to call on all many Nigerians, especially terrorist groups, to lay down their arms and embrace peace for the interest of the nation.
Sir Mike Okiro, while expressing happiness to be identified with the First Lady's Peace Initiative, says there is no alternative to peace.
Wherever you are, you must show that peace must reign in Nigeria. We must work together to keep Nigeria afloat in the sea of trouble.
We are going to go in all the zones of this country, in the states, in the local governments, and even at the world level.
Mama Peace Ambassadors, an initiative to mobilize all segments of Nigerians for peaceful conduct before, during and after election, came into existence about 5 months ago. Edina Justice, NTA News.
And the people of the Federal Capital Territory, under the auspices of Coalition of Indigenous Groups in the FCT, have passed a vote of confidence in the leadership of Senator Bala Mohammed as the FCT Minister. It was at a peaceful support rally. Correspondent Abdullahi Ajia reports.
Demonstrating their support for the stay of Senator Bala Mohammed as the FCT minister, the people commenced their walk from Era 11 NTA headquarters down to the minister's office.
I want him to remain to ensure at least the commencement of this of the implementation of this project.
Senior Special Assistant Political to the Minister, Senator Osman Jibrin Wowo, received the groups on behalf of the Minister.
Senator Bala Abdulkadir Mohammed will continue to provide the necessary infrastructures within the FCT in line with the transformation agenda of Mr. President.
The group reaffirmed that the second phase of their demand will be President Goodluck Jonathan to ask him to persuade Senator Bala Mohammed to remain as their minister to complete the projects he has started. In Abuja, I am Abdullahi Ajia, NT News.
Stakeholders across the world and young females from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT are to chart a developmental process to empower the girl child in meeting the challenges of the 21st century. This, the Director General of the National Center for Women Development, Onyeka Onwenu, says is the thrust of the Women and Girls Summit. Talatu Izerike reports.
Tackling challenges facing the girl child has necessitated a Women-Girls Summit scheduled for the 13th and 14th of this month. Interacting with the media, the Director General, National Center for Women Development, say the summit with the theme reinforcing the agenda for the girl child education is unique in many ways to close the gaps for these groups in the areas of health, security, gender-based violence and poor education.
Our women must be protected against all forms of discrimination and be given equal opportunities and access to education.
She added that the abuse of the girl's child must be brought to an end. The center, she noted, intends to follow up on the summit convened by the Office of the First Lady and ensure the implementation of resolutions. In Abuja, Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
Well, discussions earlier today on our magazine program Good Morning Nigeria on the role of the society towards the development of women and the girl child, especially in education, emphasized the need for the nation to urgently address the challenges facing women in order to have a better society. Jide Onifade has excerpts from that program.
Discussion on the program centers on how to assist the girl child to realize her potentials. Among the challenges facing the girl child, according to the analysts, are illiteracy and discrimination. Of the millions of out-of-school children, the number of the girl child is higher than that of the male child.
And the girl child is buffeted on all sides, in every part of this country. Different problems in different areas. Northeast, the violence that is raging on there. Southeast, baby factories. Some other places, it's kidnapping, it's trafficking, it's prostitution. She is simply left behind. Now, there are so many challenges, but you have to start somewhere. And we're starting with education. The reason is this. If you can educate the girl child, and education means opening up someone to be able to actualize themselves, to be able to find information with which to live and contribute to the development of her environment.
Girl child advocates set aside 11th October every year to creating awareness on the challenges facing the girl child. Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And one day national validation meeting and guidelines for promotion and response for intervention on gender-based violence in the northeast and other parts of Nigeria has ended in Abuja, with a view to bring into conclusion all ongoing consultative and inclusive processes. Timothy Yusuf reports that the meeting was organized by the Federal Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development.
Ongoing consultative and inclusive processes towards the development of the National Intervention Plan for the treatment and support for survivors of insurgents, especially women and girls in Nigeria, became an imperative as stakeholders say act of terrorism is alien to Nigeria and Nigerians. It is for this reason that the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, given its strategic mandate, conceived a program of intervention for the treatment and support for survivors. This is in collaboration with some development partners.
We are looking at enduring guidelines and strategies that will involve services towards the complete rehabilitation of those affected.
Ending the scourge of gender-based violence is imperative for the achievement of the internationally agreed development goals, including the Millennium Development Goals, the MDG.
Participants at the meeting expressed the hope that the anticipated guidelines will address issues of unskilled organizations providing relief services to victims of violence.
Normally when things happen, it will force us to sit up and make maybe laws or guidelines or rules.
Our take is that whatever guideline the ministry, who is our own supervisory ministry, is able to come up with in collaboration with other stakeholders will be taken very seriously.
It is hoped that the meeting will come up with a balanced response and intervention guidelines that will include a referral section and serve as a standard for long-term service delivery. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Into health now, the Treatment Research Group on Ebola has so far identified and recommended to the federal government 3 experimental vaccines for further clinical evaluation, as well as a candidate treatment drug to improve the management and curtail the Ebola virus disease. This was revealed at the first high-level experts meeting on the treatment and research for the Ebola virus disease and other infectious diseases in Nigeria. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah has that report.
The Treatment Research Group, which is part of the national response to the Ebola virus disease, was inaugurated over a month ago to, among other things, carry out research into the treatment of the disease and receive claims to its treatment. The Treatment Research Group is said to have received 32 treatment claims, and they are all being evaluated.
These candidate vaccines or drugs will then be subjected to clinical trials. Phase 1, some have gone through phases 1 and 2. And then we will now go to phase 3 and 4.
Topics lined up for experts in Nigeria and in the diaspora, as well as the private sector, include the diagnosis and diagnostics for Ebola, treatment, prevention, as well as research and development.
Ebola virus research in this country must actually be carried out in a biosafety lab number 4, because even individuals that are working in such labs can be exposed, but it has the ability to contain it.
Already recommended as a committee that the NIMA lab in Lagos and NIPRID lab should be strengthened so that we can actually do more.
We also need to figure out how best we encourage research.
In view of the fact that health workers are the most vulnerable to the Ebola virus infection, Minister of Health Professor Onyebuchichukwu urged the experts to explore advanced ways of protecting them during outbreaks.
We have the resolve to explore all areas of research towards vaccine production and drug treatment. I'm also hopeful that the outcome of the deliberations here today lead to a clear roadmap for achieving success in treatment options for EVD.
The Ebola virus disease is one that has kept researchers the world over on their toes in the search for vaccine and treatment drugs. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
Time now to go over to our Lagos Network Center, where Ademola will guide us on major stories from that zone. Ademola.
Thank you, Cyril. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. Political parties in the country have been challenged to channel their energy towards uniting the country for national development, rather than making uncomplimentary statements that are capable of heating up the polity. A non-governmental organization, Nigerians for Change, gave the challenge at a media briefing in Lagos. The members also commended the federal government for effectively containing the Ebola virus disease. Ken Egbeluhe now reports.
Against the background of successful efforts by the federal government to surmount and contain the dreaded Ebola virus disease, international organizations like the World Health Organization and the United States Center for Disease Control have continued to commend Nigeria for a job well done. In a continent like Africa, where Ebola is ravaging countries like Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea, it is worthy to know that Nigeria has succeeded where others are still grappling to contain the spread of the disease. To this end, members of the Nigerians for Change group believe that Nigerians should take advantage of this feat and work together for the overall development of the country.
For the very first time in recent memory, politics was left aside and governance was embraced.
If we allow politicians take up the issue and bring divisiveness into what we regard as something that we should celebrate as successful because we were united, then we will lose track of the learning curve. And what we call this press conference for was to bring back the proper focus, to allow us learn properly, and then maybe we can take lessons from that to address the issue of Boko Haram.
They also stressed the need for the political leaders in the country to avoid making statements that could cause tension, urging citizens to unite and address the current security challenges facing the nation. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
A Ready War, a play written by Sam Ukala, is the winner of the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2014, sponsored by the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas, NLNG. The Chairman Advisory Board, NLNG Prize for Literature, Professor Emeritus Ayo Banjo, said it was selected from the 124 plays submitted for the competition. John Batima reports.
Announcing the winning entry for Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited sponsored prize, the chairman of the advisory board said this year the prize focus is on drama. He said after examining the 124 entries, the judges started the process of narrowing down, shortlisting 49, 25, 11, and then the last 3.
The language is strong. The elegance of the writing makes the work a winning entry. The winner of the Award for Literary Criticism 2014 is Isidore Diala.
For the sponsors of the prize, which carries a cash reward of $100,000, it is their contribution to the development of education in Nigeria.
It is for the betterment of Nigeria that we support the Nigeria Prize for Science also, so we could develop technology in our country, so we could develop science. It is for the love of Nigeria that we are supporting 6 Nigerian universities today, each from geopolitical zone of the country.
Coming down to the final 3 was the easiest for us because we came to the meeting, each person armed with his or her list, and when we brought it forward, we showed that we were all thinking along the same line.
The Nigerian Prize for Science and Literature was instituted in 2004, and October the 9th every year is set aside for announcing the winners. In Lagos, John Batiman, NTA News.
For the sweetest scent, for the highest flight, for the fastest drive, form follows function. The world's first curved OLED TV. Picture perfect. It's all possible. LG OLED TV. Love is the greatest of all virtues. The Holy Bible and the Holy Quran tell us so. Love is not boastful. Love is humble, cool under pressure. Love is hope for the next generation. Love is the North, East, West, and South living in unity. Love is progress despite adversity. It makes the impossible possible. Love is a secure nation with prosperity for all. Love is transformation. We need more love. Good luck, Abele Jonathan. Driven by love for God and country. Mr. President, we appreciate you. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Auntie!
Hello, my dear. I see you went shopping with your mom, right? And what did you buy?
Power oil. It has 0 cholesterol and 0 trans fats. And contains vitamin A and natural vitamin E. It's a healthy oil for a healthy family.
I'll buy power oil next time I go shopping, huh?
Power Oil. Healthy for you.
Introducing the great tasting new Mini-Me Chin Chin. Rich in yummy ingredients like milk, butter, and wheat.
Mini-Me, crunchy. Mini-Me, tasty.
Playful, cheerful, joyful, very big. Break the boredom with the unique taste of Mini-Me Chin Chin.
Like my Mini-Me, yeah.
National Association of Petroleum Tanker Drivers shelves plan to embark on nationwide strike. Plus, World Bank optimistic about Africa's growth despite challenges. The details in our business news.
Welcome to Business News. The National Association of Petroleum Tanker Drivers, which is a branch of NOPENG, says it has put on hold its initial plan to embark on a nationwide strike to register its grievances over the poor state of some major roads that are crucial to their operation. The national chairman of the association, Salimon Oladiti, in a press briefing in Abuja, said the association has put on hold the action as a response to intervention by all stakeholders in the oil and gas sector.
The union agreed to respond to the clearing call made by the DSS and Permanent Secretary Petroleum Ministry Chief Mfayimba, among other stakeholders, that we give government more time to attend these routes.
Sales pressure has continued to pull down major indicators at the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange as the year-to-date loss plunged further. On Thursday, the all-share index closed at 40,572.25 points, while market capitalization closed at 13.396 trillion naira. Lies in $400 million in financing for the three countries hardest hit by the crisis. In a related development, latest analysis from the World Bank's Africa's Pulse says that growth in the African continent may exceed 5% in 2015 to 2016, but terrorism and other risks pose concern. Africa's GDP growth is projected to strengthen 5.2% yearly in 2015 to 2016 from 4.6% in 2014. That's it on Business News. I am Shikeola Ipinayi. Network News continues. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Shike. PZ Cussons Nigeria PLC recorded a modest growth of 2%, rising from 71 billion naira to 72.9 billion naira in the fiscal year, which ended 31st May 2014. This was declared at the company's 66th annual general meeting held in Abuja.
Leadership development, the better for all of us.
Senate President, represented by Senator Bashir Mohammed, Abia State Governor's representative, and some members of the National Assembly assured manufacturers of government commitment to providing enabling environment for the growth and development of indigenous industries.
My administration has continued to provide the enabling environment and necessary facilities for business to thrive.
Some of the manufacturers pointed.
Presidential advisor on Darfur and Somali. As a politician with true sense of justice and nationalism, he served on the board of NDDC. As a delegate fighter, politician of all seasons, he was re-elected as governor after 8 years of first term. As a crusader for justice and fairness in politics, he led fellow governors to join a robust opposition party. As a detribalized Nigerian, he knows all the nooks and crannies of this country. As a global bridge builder, he has traversed all the continent of the world and interacted with political and military leaders in more than 50 countries. Indeed, Kwankwaso can be trusted to do more for Nigeria.
Now to the global world, let's join Talatu Ezerike.
Reports say cheering crowds welcomed President Uhuru Kenyatta back to Kenya after his appearance at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. He was accused of crimes against humanity, which he denied. In the Middle East, Palestinian Prime Minister arrived Gaza for the first meeting of a unity government in restoring peace. From Spain, condition of the nurse with Ebola virus disease deteriorates, while the doctor who cared for her is now in isolation. And the French author Patrick Modiano has won the 2014 Nobel Prize for Literature. That is all on Global Tidbits. Talat Ezerike, NTA News.
And sports now with Fisayo Ogunfuyi.
Nigerians have commended President Goodluck Jonathan for the grand reception and cash reward given to the nation's sports stars. Some of them who spoke to NTA Sports said the nation's impressive performances in the past few years is as a result of the commitment of the present administration to sports development. They said the cash incentive will stimulate interest in the nation's teaming youths who are natural athletes.
What the president did is quite commendable, and I can tell he's going to encourage a lot of sportsmen. They are the ones that keep our flags flying in other countries.
As the Super Eagles head to Khartoum for the all-important AFCON qualifier against Sudan, football pundits clamoring for the return of Villarreal of Spain top striker Ikechukwu Uche told the Super Eagles may have to wait for a while longer if head coach Stephen Keshi's latest comments on Uche's continued absence from the national team is anything to go by.
We all play for this country for 20-something years. Nobody begged us to play. We were begging to play. So please, let it be the end today. Don't ask me about Uche.
Mega veteran handballers say to get handball back to its halcyon years, recorded in the 80s, there must be a total reawakening of the game from tactics, techniques to new rules. To achieve this, respected German Olympic Federation instructor Hans Peter and his team of instructors are in Nigeria to evaluate the know-how of the game's officials in an 8-day workshop in Abuja.
Is it a matter of the system having no grassroots system to bring people up? So this seminar will give some information.
The Mega Veterans Handball Association, organizers of the exercise, say the event will be organized regularly with sports news update. Fisai Ogunfui, NTA News.
The family of the former managing director of the News Agency of Nigeria, late Mrs. Oluremi Oyo, have expressed heartfelt gratitude to all who have supported them in their time of difficulty. A statement by her husband, Vincent Oyo, says there will be a requiem mass and wake-keep on Thursday, the 16th of October at the Church of Assumption, Asokoro, Abuja, by 6 o'clock in the evening, as well as a service of songs by the Papal Knights and Medalists on the 20th of October in Lagos. The funeral mass for late Mrs. Oyo, the statement further says, will be on October the 24th at the St. Dominic's Basilica, Yaba, while interment will be at the Ebony Vaults in Lagos. Now for a quick look at the weather. And as we leave you, we encourage you that and remind you that it's your right to challenge anybody suspected to be involved in unwholesome activities around you. Be security conscious. This message is from the Directorate of State Security. That concludes Network News tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.